Hey team, we're doing another video. Um, so this is my 45-gallon freshwater aquarium. I'm getting more into saltwater, but freshwater is really just really beautiful. I like all the plants, and there's some fish out there I like, but yeah. So this is just some tips on how to keep a natural aquarium, keep your plants living and thriving, and how to keep your fish happy and parasite free. My fish are as healthy as can be, knock on wood. But yeah. So in this setup, I got two. So basically, there's this part right here is right here, and there's a little plastic piece of a skull right here. But that's basically just two bigger rocks, two like slates rocks. They looked really nice, even though they get covered up. Just stacked on top of each other with a nice piece of driftwood, and the same is right here. But there's this bush of plants covering it. So, I would follow some basic things. Get a deep substrate. I would only recommend sand. I would do either 4 or 5 inches of sand, or I would do 1 or 2 inches of aqua soil with a cap of 3 inches of sand, and that'll work out beautifully. There is no aqua soil in this. It's purely sand. It's a very thick layer of sand, and it's perfect. This is a finer sand. I'm not sure exactly where I got that from. I think PetSmart. But anywho, very thick layer of sand with lots and lots of plants. If I can count really quick, there's over 30 plants, 40 plants maybe in this tank, and they are scattered and they are just growing. My favorite is this pothos. I started this whole entire thing out. It literally is in the whole entire tank. But I started off with like a 2-inch clipping, and I've had it for probably 2 years, in 2 different tanks, and I grew it out, made a clipping, grew it out, made a clipping, grew it out, made a clipping, put it in this tank. And this tank up here was actually the old version. This is a saltwater tank now. That's a new reef tank I just set up. Check out my videos. But yeah, this is I was thinking about switching this one to saltwater, but I'm really happy with the way it is now. Besides the fact we're having a green hair algae problem. So I have no snails in this tank. I have no shrimp in this tank. I have fish and plants and whatever else. And I haven't really needed snails. I haven't really needed anything of that nature. The fish like to kill. First of all, you cannot keep shrimp with fish. No matter what anyone says, your fish are going to eat it. No matter the fish, they're going to eat it. They will eat the babies. They will eat the adults. Whatever they can fit in their mouth, they will take bites of it. They will eat your shrimp, and they will die. Yeah, so, green hair algae. So, it just started in this tank. I've had green hair algae. It's in every single tank. You can't avoid it. It kind of is taking over the plants. That's the only problem that I'm having now, is that they're growing on the leaves, and that is taking nutrients from the plant. So there's 2 ways I can go about this. I can manually remove it. I can go in there and I can try to brush off all the hair algae on the plants, or I can go ahead and I can add more plants, but I'm probably going to have to do both of those. So what I would do is I would brush off all the hair algae, and then I would add more plants, and the plants should outcompete all algae in the tank, and it should be okay. I might take some plants from my shrimp aquarium that I just set out. Check out my videos. I got a lot of plants in that tank. I might take some. This one plant right here is a plant that I took from that aquarium. But that's the only thing I took. I didn't take anything from this tank and put it in that tank. But yeah, like I was saying, I have no snails, no shrimp. So, and I don't really want snails. I don't really want shrimp. I might get some snails maybe, but I'm scared that my angelfish are gonna eat them. So let's go back into the past. I have had fish tanks for a while. I've had unnatural, I've had like semi-natural, and then I've had natural. Natural is the way to go. I killed a lot of fish with the unnatural. I killed a lot of fish with the semi-natural, and I've killed virtually no fish with the natural. The only fish that have been killed were not by me, they were by other fish in this tank. What I'm going to tell you, don't get pea puffers, and angelfish are going to nip at everything. My angelfish are okay because I feed them well, and yeah, he literally sees me by the tank and he's just hanging out. But what I have in this tank, I have 3 zigzag eels, I have 3 stone catfish, those blind looking things. I think they're blind. They swim like they're blind. And I have a snowball plecostomus. That's my favorite. I have an albino bristle plecostomus that just turned black. He was albino. He was orange. He was bright orange. And now he's basically a dark brown, almost a deep black. And there's a couple things that could be from, but it's a couple things that I'm not going to narrow it down to one because it's a couple things. So, but yeah, this is a simple hang on the back filter. That's a very low quality filter. It's one of those cartridge filters. There's no biomedia, there's no nothing. It's a cartridge filter. This tank is, I basically use that filter to put filter floss in, to take organics out of the water, and for water flow, of course. And I have a heater. It's set to, it ranges from 78 to 80. I wouldn't go past 80, but I think 78 to 80 is a very good sweet spot for fish like this. Yeah, so I mean, it's not a crazy amount of fish that I have in this tank. It's a little bit more than what I would like. I wish I could stick to one fish and, you know, get a couple of those and just, you know, stuff that I could see more. But I got more stuff that I can't see in hides all day than, for example, like the 2 angelfish that are out all the time. And the zigzag eels have gotten a lot more comfortable, and those are showing up in the daytime a lot more. And the pea puffers are always out, causing havoc. But yeah, this is a very simple tank. I don't do water changes on this tank. I feed very lightly. I rely on the plants. And your sand is going to get a little bit dirty, you know, from plants dying off and leaves falling and, you know, just debris from, you know, mostly plants. But I recently just gravel vacuumed this aquarium. I got like the front half done, but I took out a little bit more water than I would like to take out, so I'm gonna have to wait a while for another little vacuum. But I took out a lot of water. I took out probably 40% of the water, which I really don't like to do that. If you have a problem with your tank, do a small water change. Don't rely on water changes. Rely on the plants and the beneficial bacteria that are in the tank to consume waste, and rely on your deep sand bed to hold the waste. yeah, don't get into, I mean, if I was going to start a new tank tomorrow, I would either do a very deep substrate of sand only, don't do gravel, period. You can add a little bit of rocks on top of the sand, whatever you want to do. But do sand. Sand is very good. It holds a lot of that, matter that you don't want floating around in the water. It actually holds it. It'll seal it shut, and it will, wait for other organisms to consume that waste that are in the sand bed. What I want to do going forward with this tank is literally go to a pond or like a creek or something and get some little organisms going in this tank to live in the sand bed, and that would be very nice. That would be even less maintenance that I would have to do. But create something natural for your fish. You're trying to replicate their environment. You don't want to create a toxic environment with chemicals and additives and all that BS. You don't want any of that. You want to keep it as natural as you can. And when you see something wrong with your tank, you should know what's wrong. Look up any problem that you have. Just deal with it in natural ways. When you start adding all this stuff, you're going to fall into this pit. You're going to fall into this cycle of just non-stop, repetitive, just garbage. You don't want any of that. You want to keep a natural tank. Get any plant. I mean, like, I literally have like 5 different plants in this tank with basic LED lights, like extremely basic Amazon lights for 10 or 20 bucks, and I've been keeping them on for a while now, probably over 12 hours, so that could also be a part of the reason why the green hair algae is getting a little bit of a problem. That's not the main reason the algae is becoming a problem, but it's part of the reason. It's definitely feeding that hair algae. Yeah, you don't need all this special stuff. You don't need to do water changes every week. You don't need to do water changes every month. I just keep it natural. Don't overstock, don't overfeed. It's as simple as that, and you'll be perfectly fine.